Hey guys, thank you so much and welcome to the Game Your Future podcast, where we help gamers realize their full potential. And today I have a special guest for you. It is Jillian Holly, who is an intuitive healer, is a TV show host, and creator of Kinetic Divination. So thank you so much and welcome, Jillian. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about kind of what you do and I guess what is kinetic divination? That's a very interesting term.
Yeah. So what I do is I'm an intuitive healer, have been all my life, trained in multiple healing methodologies. I created a healing methodology called Kinetic Divination because all the other stuff wasn't working. I had subconscious programming that got in the way of creating a life that I desired. So created something that really went to that subconscious realm and allowed me to reprogram it, reframe it to my benefit and to the benefit of the people around me. And that led to ultimately being on different podcasts. And I landed on the Skeptic Metaphysicians, who had success in kind of real time working with these tools in kinetic divination. And they offered me a spot. They were starting a TV network, and they offered me a spot to be a TV show host. And I jumped at that. So that's the empowerment toolkit that I am now hosting on New Reality TV.
Empowerment Toolkit. That's very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. And we talked a little bit before too. So very cool that you're getting all this message out there. You know, whether it's the new network, the TV show host, and then you mentioned separately. I know to me about doing stuff through games, right?
Yeah,
And especially through VR, if I understand correctly. And I don't know if you could walk
100%.
us through
Yeah.
like kind of like how did that journey start, right? Because you're also doing stuff in VR now.
Yeah, crazy. It was a really cool journey. Like if you had told me a year and a half ago that I'd be where I am right now and doing what I am, I'd say no, you're bonkers. That's impossible. I got a Quest headset for the supernatural workouts, fell in love with them, but I kept seeing, other like ads, commercials, things were popping up for different things like Horizon Worlds. So I thought, okay, well, what the heck is this thing? I jumped in there, was completely blown away by it's like Facebook and Facebook groups but in avatar form in VR. So you're talking with people all over the world, you're making friends, you're connecting. And it was such a cool experience. But also, I went into these worlds and I was just astounded. The worlds in there are breathtaking. And then someone told me, yeah, these are regular people just making these worlds. And I thought, what what do you mean regular people? I thought it was they were full on gaming companies, right? That were had a team that were doing this. No, these are moms and dads
Wow.
who have a 9 to 5 and sneak in a few hours here and there before picking the kid up from school and putting the kid to bed, and making these beautiful worlds in Horizon Worlds, or it's now just called Worlds. And I said, okay, stop talking and show me how to do this, right? So I jumped in and started creating pretty badly these worlds, but I'm getting better as we do. And I just kind of was throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what would stick. And I really wanted to figure out how to gamify mindfulness and meditation and conscious creation because that's really my wheelhouse. I had such difficulty with the subconscious programming, feeling like I could create reality or my life on my terms to an extent, right? Like we're co-creators. There is stuff outside of us that we don't have control over, but I should have control over my reactions and my mind and how I'm feeling. And I wanted to bring that into VR. And I think I have stumbled on that gateway, that portal into to kind of merge those together.
That's fantastic. Wow. So using this Worlds, you're able to kind of create these worlds. Yeah, pun intended. But just
Right.
that understanding that that people can create it, right? I think there's so much hesitation. I think for a lot of people to, as far as experimenting or creating something new, saying that they don't have either the knowledge or the background or the studio or the money behind them. And so I was just curious, like, if we could dig in a little bit of that more, as far as because I know there's a lot of people that are out there saying, like, well, that's awesome, Jillian, you could do that because you're amazing. And a lot of people think, but I'm not you. But so, like, how do you get
You are.
started? Who can do this, and how do you get started?
Anyone. It's so much fun. So there are pretty much two tiers of builders. There are the builders who are in Unity and Blender and other full on, gaming on game creation software on your PC or Mac. Usually it's PC, right?
Yep.
But sorry, Mac.
No
Then there are
offense to
the
Mac fans.
others. I know, right? Throw us a bone. But yeah, then there's the gamers and the game developers, the builders who are in headset. So I am in headset and I'm taking a block and I'm shrinking it down to a wall. And I do that and I duplicate it and then duplicate it again. And I piece it together and there's a house, right? This is in headset. There are um, pretty extensive tools. There's,
Wow.
you can't really stretch or bend, manipulate the tools in that way yet, but it's still doable. I created a world called Florence's Garden. I shortened it to Flo's Garden now, but it's a world based on the work of Florence Scovel Shinn, and she's one of my favorite authors. And she was one of the first in the New Thought movement in the early 1900s, along the lines of Neville Goddard and Dr. Joseph Murphy and William Walker Atkinson. And she had kind of a hard time, so nobody would publish her work. She was a woman in the 1900s. You're talking about this kind of stuff. Like, who do you think you are? And she published her first book and second and third all on her own. She did pretty well for herself. And it was astounding for me to create a world to represent her and her work, her
Wow.
affirmations, her mantras, teaching people how to create life on their terms. And 100 years after the publication of her first book, a friend of mine brought in a picture of her into Flo's garden. And that was within days of, and I didn't even know it. I didn't know that I wasn't able to bring pictures in because this was again, we're getting back to, this was a primitive build, taking
Right.
blocks and shapes in headset versus a tri-mesh world, right?
Hmm.
And so I wasn't able to bring images in until then. So I literally cried when my friend brought an image of Florence into Flo's garden, and how, it just kind of, I had to stop for a second because 100 years ago, this woman busted her butt and was unable to publish her own books through a publishing company. And now she has a world in virtual reality with her picture in it.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And just being able to celebrate it that way too, just it just
Yeah.
astounds me and just amazes me too. Like the amount of work and dedication, just like a single person can create something so magical. So like kudos to you and your friend for absolutely doing that and really just bringing to light because there's so many, I guess you call it forgotten history, right? They're just figures that didn't get the recognition they deserve. And so
Mm.
amazing to be able to bring that and showcase that to the world to say, like, look at the good things that happen. And through
Yeah.
VR, right? It's so like
Right.
super cool. Like,
And getting back to your question, anybody can do this. Like I help people build in VR and in worlds. Um, I've taught a lot of my friends, the basics, because I'm not a master builder. I don't know if I'll ever get there to being, as good as some of my friends and people that I know in worlds. There's stunning things going on in worlds and in, VR chat. VR chat is stunning. I go in there and do meditations all the time. I'm starting to record different worlds that aren't mine that I love to go and sit in, just being in, that surrounding the beauty, the environment, and recording it. And I'm going to put it up on my YouTube channel. But anybody can do this and get started. And um it's so fulfilling to piece blocks together, right? And then after, a few days and maybe a few weeks, you then have something. I have a friend who spent a year in worlds in VR, and he wanted to build, but he just kind of held back and he watched. And then he found some worlds, he found parkour, and he became obsessed and loved parkour, and he hit the ground running, and within a month and a half he now has like 5 worlds that are all parkour, but he's an artist and they're stunningly beautiful, visually just really in depth, just really gorgeous. And you don't, that's what he does. What could you do watching this and thinking, oh, I can't do that? If you want to, then do it. There may be stuff that gets in the way though. And we were talking before about procrastination or imposter syndrome. And we can go there if you'd like,
Yeah,
talk
and
about
that's
that.
definitely want to focus on that because so many gamers I think have that as far as the imposter syndrome, and as well as procrastination, and that's something I've definitely in the past have suffered myself. So one thing, yeah, and before we get into that one, I think one of the things you said that was so key, and I think this will play in kind of transitioning to the next piece, is as far as just kind of what you say, like building a little block at a time, right? And just like I think there's so much power in that like over time it may not seem like much at the time, right? You're just moving one little block here, one little block here, and I think you can equate it maybe to like Minecraft, right? I think it's a popular game that a lot of people understand and can know that it's like, all right, well, if you're building like a little house, yeah, it might take 2 seconds to build like a little tiny little thing, but if you want to make these grand castles, it's like, well, it's going to take time. So just understand that you just have to work at it a little bit at a time and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
And then the key
Mm-hmm.
part that I heard that she said, it was kind of the focus on just like what you can do. And I've
Yeah.
heard it another way too. It's like just focus on what you can control, right?
Mm.
Because you mentioned there's so much outside of us that happens, and I think so many people get frustrated because it's like all these things are happening. It's like, well, it
Yeah.
is unfortunate circumstances at a lot of times, but if you focus on what you can control, you
Mm-hmm.
can make so much more progress because you're not just stuck in frustration at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
So tell us a little bit about kind of the imposter syndrome side of it. Is that something that you've suffered from, or is that something that you help with, or both?
Yeah, I suffer from imposter syndrome in different aspects of my life. It's funny, I'm a musician, singer-songwriter as well. Um, Again, when I find the 25th and 26th hour in the day. Um, and you know, I do struggle with that in music. Um, Gaming, not so much. There's no expectation that I have around gaming. And I think that's a
Mm.
key there's also decreased importance. It's fun for me. Um, I see that those two um, tiers, those columns, if you will, within imposter syndrome. If there's importance and if we have expectations, those really don't do us any favors. So we can check in and we could do some work if you want around, bringing in the Kinetic Divination tools. And what that does is that allows us to regain control over these emotions or programs or rules or triggers and traumas that we have. Essentially, I call them stories. If there's any story around something, if it's too important, or if I have expectations that maybe aren't realistic or healthy, then they get in the way. They get in the way for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Is that something that you'd want to, yeah, kind of display on this podcast here for, I guess, for those listening, just
Yeah.
to kind of as an example? Like, I'm
Yeah.
willing to be a test subject or
Okay.
a
Guinea pig.
subject of
Yep.
experiment or what have you.
Sure. Yeah. It's really quite simple. I use a few tools. One of them is called muscle testing or applied kinesiology. We won't get into, I'll just kind of do it, like lead you through, and anybody can do this right now as long as you're just don't drive or operate heavy machinery,
Yeah.
although you're not closing your eyes. You are essentially bringing your awareness away from your outside surroundings and you're
Okay.
bringing them internally to where they should
So,
be.
so for those, don't do
Um,
this while driving. Pull
yeah,
over to the side of
yeah,
the road if you want to follow along.
yeah. Or just listen and then just stick a pin in it, come back to this recording later
Yep.
and work through it then, right? And they're
Yep.
really easy
Perfect.
tools, really easy. So you can listen to this and go, okay, I'll implement that later.
Yep.
So simple, just bring your awareness to your breath. And then as you're breathing, remember that your breath comes down to your abdomen. So no chest breathing. You're breathing into your abdomen. And then as you're doing that, just think of something that you're grateful for. And it can be one thing, it can be 27 and a half things. And as you're thinking about that thing or those things that you're grateful for, I want you to imagine, just remind yourself of your name. And you can say, my name is to yourself, just in your mind, my name is. And you're affirming something that you know to be true. And now, this really is super easy for us gamers. I want you to imagine that there is a whiteboard out in front of you. And this whiteboard is only visible to you and your imagination. This whiteboard has 0% on the left and 100% on the right. And this is going to be your testing board. I call this the KDB. This is the Kinetic Divination board. So as you are now again going back to your breath, going back to that feeling of gratitude, and then you're again confirming or affirming your correct name. And as you say your correct name, I want you to imagine this whiteboard and allow this whiteboard to show you how true that is. And again, this is 0% on the left, 100% on the right. So how true is your correct name? You should get some sort of awareness over on the right side, over around 100%. Is that true?
Yep.
Cool. Now I want you to play with it and go, okay, blank is my favorite food. So think of a favorite food that you just love. You can make it, you could eat it, you could maybe not share it because it's your favorite food. And you want to get, again, an awareness on this whiteboard. Is that around 100% or far right side of this whiteboard? Cool. Now we're going to test this whiteboard. We're going to fib. So I want you to think of a food that you really do not like, something that you would not eat. And you're going to tell your body, oh my gosh, I would love to take a big, huge bite of that right now. And you should get an awareness around the left side of the whiteboard. Cool. You've just primed the KDB or the whiteboard. And this whiteboard is a direct link, a communication with your subconscious mind. Your body is your subconscious mind. It's a direct reflection. So when you say, I want to show up 100% and I have no imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome can't hold me back. I want you to perceive an awareness on this KDB, on this whiteboard, what percentage comes up for you. And it could be 20%. It could be on the left side. So when you say imposter syndrome can't hold me back, what percentage comes up for you if you want to share?
For me, I'd say 80%. So it's on the right.
Nice. Good, good. So anybody else that's lower than 80%, you really want to move that up. Even 80%, if you're perceiving that 80%, I want you now to tell your body anybody else's thoughts, rules, behaviors, perceptions, judgments that could be affecting this, that could be contributing to this percentage, I release, I eject that from my body. And you're just telling your body that. So just say, hey, body, release, eject anything that could be contributing to that percentage. And if you know specifically who that is, it could be mom, it could be dad, it could be brother, sister, spouse, dog, cat. Cats are judgy, right? So eject any of that stuff from your body and then check back in with that percentage. Even 80%, did that move up once you did that, once you told your body?
I did.
Good.
It is working.
So when you say, what is it?
I say that it feels like it's working. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So you can do that either way. Either way. I actually used the KDV to quit smoking and I smoked for over 30 years.
Wow.
And I did it one time. But the trick was, I heard somebody say, think of, cabbage or something, a food that you don't like. And that didn't work for me. What worked for me was I was going through a really nasty divorce and my husband liked his girlfriend better than me. So I pictured them on the left and I mashed the desire to quit smoking or desire to smoke, which was quite high still, with them. I brought it down to, their faces at 0%. Yeah. One time.
Wow. That's
That was over 10
powerful.
years ago.
And congratulations for that too. Wow. I know
Thank
so
you.
many people struggle with quitting smoking, so just such a
Yeah.
powerful tool.
It is. That's kinetic divination. That's something that I use daily. I have CPTSD or had, and I that's what I do in my business. I help people to release pain from their body and pain from their mind.
That's fantastic. So for those that tried it themselves, whether yeah, and again, I hope you did it on the side of the road if you were driving. Uh, but so definitely let me know and let us know here in the comments too, as far as like how that felt and I guess
Yeah.
how powerful that was for you because it's just I love these kind of exercises as far as like the intuitive healing. I'm just so fascinated for these kind of things, beyond just kind of the, I guess, traditional medicine kind of things, like just take a pill, you'll feel better. It's like, well, no, the mind can help so much. And I just love exploring those
Yeah,
kind
and
of
the
things. So
the pills usually do make the symptom decrease. It does make the symptom decrease, but there's still the root problem or cause of that symptom that those pills do not touch.
gotcha. That's fantastic. So, one of the things I know that it would definitely help for us for gamers, right? Is just kind of understanding that kind of mindset as far as just kind of expanding and healing for that because I think so many of us have that kind of what you said as far as like in a game we're very confident, like we understand what to do, like we're good at the game, but then when we get outside the game, we're not on the rails anymore. We don't have like the box that we can that's it. Like the box is the world, right? So it's like it's overwhelming at a point. It's like, well, then who am I to affect that big of a, you know, sandbox, if you will? How can I affect the world when it's the world? And just that sense of imposter syndrome, I think, kind of creeps in once we're outside of the game. So I think this is a really powerful tool to kind of to help.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. And I think, gamers check yourself when you're in the game. You are not in control of the game. You're in control of your avatar. And you can be control of your avatar in this physical body as well.
That's
Because
really
this
cool.
physical body really is an avatar. It's not you. This isn't me. This is, the meat suit. This is the shell, right? I came into this baby body, but I'm bigger than this baby body. And we all are. So this is like an avatar. And we do have control somewhat. If we feel completely out of control, that's where these tools, or even if you want to have more control over specific areas of your life. And like I was saying, music, I still have imposter syndrome, but gaming, I don't. TV show, like I have a TV show. What? Like that, I
And I
don't,
love
I
that
can
it's just
show up.
and just being sometimes it's the right place and just knowing, like just having a skill set that people find valuable that, and that's what I love is like, you might have imposter syndrome about certain things, but then people will see the value and say, "Hey, you got to check this out. You got to come over here. I would love you to do a TV show for this." And you're like, "Crazy, cool. Let's go." So
Yeah.
that's such a cool, fantastic story.
Nice. Well, and, if I can leave something with people, if you have an area of your life where have crazy confidence, and then there's other areas of your life where that's, lacking. So go to the whiteboard, the KDB again, crazy confidence 100% in one area, and then another area, maybe 10, maybe even less. You can borrow, I call it mirroring. So you're thinking of that area of your life when where you have crazy confidence, there's decreased importance, there's decreased expectation. You can borrow and mirror this. So you're telling your brain on this KDB, you're telling your subconscious, hey, see that? I want that here. And
Okay,
you
and then
can
so
try that.
again, because the mind is so powerful, and because once and I think what that kind of means to me too, because I've heard sayings like that. There's no force more powerful than your own identity of yourself, because
Mm,
you will work towards creating your identity. And if you limit yourself, if you think I can't do it,
yeah,
a lot of the times you can't
you're
because your
right.
mind says, well, we're not that kind of a person. There's no way that we can be there. And
Yeah.
so that's why
It's like
this kind of mindset stuff is so powerful because you can break
it
through.
is. It is. And that's reminds me of the quote from the part of the Bible that said, if you have the faith in the mustard seed, you can move mountains. And people think that, your faith needs to be like this small. It's actually that self-concept of the mustard seed. The mustard seed knows that it's going to grow into mustard. It doesn't think it's going to be an apple. So if you have faith
Yeah.
of a mustard seed, the mustard seed knows I am a darn mustard seed, me, right? And that's it. I am a what? I am a gamer. I am a builder. I'm a healer. I'm a father. I'm a mother. Whatever it is for you, own it. That's the faith of the mustard seed. That's self-perception.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that, Julie. Thank you so much for this. And as we kind of close down for this particular episode, I definitely wanted to make sure that we could find more about you and what you do because this has been really powerful. So Julie, where can we find more about you and kinetic divination?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook is where I live the most. It's Jillian Holly. Um, and Kinetic Divination is on Facebook as well. It has its own Facebook page. My little baby is all growing up. And then I'm in Worlds as Jillian Holly. I know, I'm so weird. I'm so weird. I don't have like an
Oh
avatar
my
name.
gosh.
I just am in there under my own name. I'm just one of the weird ones.
Yep.
Um, but
Too
yeah,
funny.
Jillian Holly. And come visit Flo's Garden. I do meditations every Sunday at 6 Eastern in Flo's Garden in Worlds.
That's awesome. So guys, make sure to check that out because the intuitive healing, and for those that did do the exercise, I hope you did, that you can just see how powerful it is just to kind of help just kind of push to where you want to be and just just kind of the mental fortitude that you get from just kind of like letting the baggage fall away. I think is really cool too. So thank you so much, Jillian, for being here and helping us and just being an awesome gamer, being an awesome intuitive healer. That's so fantastic and fun. So guys,
Thanks for having me. I enjoy this so much.
awesome. So guys, and if you want to learn more, definitely check her out on Facebook, Kinetic Divination, Jillian Holly. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And before we go, I do have one question, one final question for Jillian. What is your favorite video game?
Well, it's a VR game and it's called Fairies in the Trees. It's by Space Glitter Unicorn. And if you haven't been in there, if you haven't checked it out, you got to do it. It's amazing.
Berries in the trees in VR. I love it. So much fun. Guys, this has been fantastic. Thank you, Jillian. And gamers, remember, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.